Yes, Hornets, how are we? Welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel. It feels good to be back. Sorry, well, I've been absolutely terrible letting these two lads down, not being on the last couple of videos, because these lads have been holding the fort brilliantly, superbly, oozing quality. Sam Ucko, Charlie Zazzera, and myself, Jacob Culshaw, on today's stream to be ranking Watford summer transfer window signings. We're going to get the tier list up. We're going to get all the names, all the signings in one place, and you can have your say on which is the best and worst, potentially, signing for Watford this season. We're also going to have a little bit of a reflection on the Southampton game, talk departures, because there were a couple. One big one involving, obviously, a homegrown player who's come through the academy and was at the club for 10 years, and Ryan Andrews. And we'll do the tier list, have a bit of chat about the squad depth, where we find Watford. Because, look, Sam, at the end of the day, we're 3 unbeaten, 2 draws and a win. So are Paolo's boys cooking?
Well, cooking is an understatement, Jacob. We have served up the greatest 5-course meal you have ever seen at a 5-star restaurant so far. Yeah, a bit of an exaggeration that may be so far, but I've been really impressed the last few games. I think we're slowly coming into our own. I feel like that post half time against Norwich, on the whole, it has been a huge improvement, and I feel like by the game we're improving as well. I actually think against Southampton for periods we were really good. I think against Swansea for 60 minutes we were excellent. And I think we saw some really positive signs against QPR that we've spoken about already. So yeah, I mean, it's early days, of course, but it won't shock me if things continue like this. I think we can just say that Charlton game on the first day in the first half against Norwich, it was just a bit of a bedding in period, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say this is comment of the day from Charlie? Back to school tomorrow, and you just made my evening. Now, Sam, look, what you were saying was absolutely fantastic, mate. But I did have to say, when I saw the comment come through, Charlie, I started reminiscing to that. You know, that feeling you get in your stomach when the summer holidays just gone past, 6 weeks of living your best life. You know, you've been down at Power League every day. You've been having a couple of, Calippos or something like, other ice creams are available. And you're kind of thinking, wow, this is the life. This is it. And then school comes back around Tuesday, Wednesday, the 3rd of September. God, awful.
I don't want to show my age, but that was a lot longer for me than it was you two guys. But I remember riding around on my BMX with a couple of pegs. Did you guys roll deep with getting the ice pops from the shop?
Oh, mate. Do you know
what is the goat ice cream or? Do
you know what? We'll have a look at Twisters.
Yeah, they're too small now. What's all that about?
Yeah, but when we were in school, Charlie, they were definitely slightly bigger. Maybe a Magnum, actually. Just they're very versatile. You got like 4 or 5 different flavors of the same ice cream, Sam.
Yeah, listen, I like a Cornetto because I also like the cone. I feel like once you've got through the ice cream, you need something to look forward to at the end. And the fact you've got that cone, and even then, you get to the bottom of the cone and it's not done. You have the bit of the chocolate at the bottom. So I'd go with the Cornetto just because there's so many layers to it. But I think generally in life, as you get older, refreshments are important. And if you're looking for some liquid refreshments, 7 minutes away from Vicarage Road and you're over 18, I highly recommend getting down to the Mad Squirrel on a match day where you can have the best bit in Watford.
Fab has to be in the conversation, by the way, Oliver. Great shout. I'd say Magnum on its day, unplayable.
My God, I can't remember what it was called. There was one. It's so nostalgic. I used to have it at my grandparents. You'd have the ice cream and you have it, and there was like a chocolate bar underneath it.
Oh, we'll have a look.
Yeah, what about Screwball, Choc Ice? One that I remember, and I don't know, again, people of an older generation. Do you guys know what Fantasy Island was?
Oh, of course we do.
So they used to sell a lolly called a Zap, which was like a kind of multicoloured. But yeah, that was the one for me.
Oh, superb. Do you know what? Just to wrap up the ice cream chat, just from what Tim says within the first 2 minutes, lads, have you seen the price of a 99 now?
It's not 99p.
No.
It's not 99p. I was in. Do you know what? I think I was taking my little cousin around Casbury Park, and I went to the bottom. And I'm not going to name the ice cream van because there's a specific name for it. And if you know, you know. Got to the bottom, went to the till, and he's gone, look, do you fancy an ice cream? I go, of course, mate. What do you want? He goes, oh yeah, I'll have a Mr. Whippy. Came in at £3.79.
It's a joke.
Game's gone. On that,
I tell you what, though, Jacob, and Mr. Whippy, that is worth every bit of the value. Nestoria and Kunda. What a whip that was! Right into the top corner.
Sam, have you been practicing these segues?
You believe me, these aren't stage. I've just got a screen in front of me with everything that I practiced beforehand.
What's new, lads? By the way, weekend-wise, Charlie.
Yeah, had a great day on Saturday. So I was with kind of a couple of the Northwest Hornets. Shout out to Rob and Russ. I know Russ likes to listen and watch in the bath.
Legend.
But yeah, we actually came down together from Manchester, early train, straight into Junction Calf. I tell you who is cooking, the boys in there. They never disappoint. And when we discovered a couple of beers in the fridge, that kick-started today. Went to Mad Squirrel for a couple of before. Great pre-match vibes. Met Sam in there, and then went to the game, and yeah, it was a really, really entertaining game. Ending with that Mr. Whippy at the end, and yeah, more limbs. I've got loads of bruises on the back of my thigh, and completely missed the double backflip. So when I saw that, I was like, that is. The vibes were immaculate, Jacob. So yeah, really good day on Saturday. Yeah, loved it.
2 questions, Charlie. Just lastly on the refreshment stuff. When's the earliest time you've had a beer? 18 over, please drink responsibly.
You're really out at me here. I don't know.
No, for an away day or a Watford game.
Oh, for an away day.
Yeah.
This one's got to be up there, Charlie, surely, from what you told me.
I think like 10, half 10. But the lads, when I met them in the carriage at their tinnies, I had my Greg's tea and bacon roll, but they're more experienced heads than me, so we got home in the end.
Superb. And Sam, when was the last time Watford scored a free kick at Vicarage Road?
It was 2016, Aston Villa at home, Alman Abdi. I think we beat them 3-2 that day. And I think my main memory of that game actually was, I remember for about 2 weeks afterwards, everyone was talking about how good Steven Berghaus was. I think it might have been the only game that he ever played for us, or one of the few that he played for us. We were 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go. He plucks out 2 unbelievable assists. I think both were for Dini. Obviously, the other one was Abdi for the free kick. Everyone was talking about how good Berghaus was, and then we never saw him again, did we?
No, we didn't. And he actually went to Feyenoord, if I'm not mistaken, then made the move to Ajax. And it went like, he got absolute pelters for that, because that's like the biggest rivalry in Holland, right?
He's had a pretty good career, though, hasn't he? Playing Champions League, I think, captain in Ajax. So, one that got away.
Just on that, Sam, you're on about a Viennetta, according to Lewis Twaddle.
Decent. I'll have a look afterwards. Just a quick shout out as well, actually, while Charlie mentioned the Mad Squirrel. Bumped into Matt Evans in there, who him and Kate Lewis recently had their first child as well. Kate doing fantastic work with the women of Watford as well. And I believe, actually, I can't remember what the baby's called. He's unbeaten since he came into the world. So if we get promoted, it's all on him, I think.
Oh, huge congrats to those guys. Those two are absolute diamonds. And 2 massive Hornets, 2 amazing people, and another Hornet into the world, which is always an amazing thing. So huge shout out to Kate Lewis and Matt as well for, I was going to say, getting it over the line. That's like the wrong phrase, as if it's like a signing. But for bringing another Hornet into the world, lads. Let's talk Southampton. I will admit I wasn't there, so I've had to watch the game on catch up. And my biggest, well, I have to be honest, lads. When I caught up with it, if you'd said to me beforehand, would you have taken a point against Southampton? I absolutely would have taken a point against Southampton, because I think they will be up there coming in the season. Having said that, speaking to Southampton fans, they said they haven't clicked quite yet. So it might be quite a good time to play them. They've had a few new signings. I know Finn Zazzera's come in as well. Will Steele's obviously his first proper job in England as well. So he's getting up to speed. But Charlie, what were your main key takeaways from a Watford point of view on our performance? I mean, take away the goals. They're 2 fantastic goals from Baronir and Kunda. But what did you make of Watford's overall performance?
Yeah, I still haven't watched back our instant match reaction. I think Sam did me dirty on the thumbnail, but I think my key takeaway was to give Paolo a bit of praise for his subs, and especially being pretty gung ho taking bringing on Vata, Bar, Irukunda. I think I said it. I think it looked kind of like a who did we end up on the pitch with? Irukunda, Bar, Vata, Kurumgard. So yeah, went for it. Bar from last season, making it. That is the perfect peak Bar goal, isn't it? Just ruining some defender in his wake, smashing it in without any thought. Leaving with a bit of aura in the celebration, only to be outdone by Irakunda's celebration. So, yeah, it was pleasing to see some good character. There's still quite a few mistakes there, like with the first goal for the set piece, and even looking back at it, a Banquet kind of a needless foul. At the time, I couldn't see, and I was giving the ref pelters. But, yeah, against a Southampton team, I think that's a good result to come back from being behind twice. So, yeah, the vibes are good.
Because the thing is, right, Sam, is when any team, doesn't matter if it's Watford or any team, we go behind or another team goes behind and come back twice to get something out of the game. The first thing that people go is showed real character, showed real belief, real desire. Did Watford show that, or is that just an easy thing to say because we came back twice?
Spot on. I think that's genuinely the best way of putting it in terms of character. I think it would have been easy in the sense that Southampton, particularly when they scored that second goal, previous Watford teams I've seen just crumble in that situation or show no chance of getting back into it, particularly because after Bar's goal, I felt that we were slowly starting to knock on the door and turn the screw. And then Southampton got a free kick, which was pretty much out of nothing. Charlie, we were both pretty confused in the ground as to what it came from. I think it must have been a pull on the edge of the box onto the attacker that Manning was able to put away. But it would have been easy at that point for almost to halt Watford's progress. But I think the characters come back into the game twice against a really good Southampton team. I think, credit to the team and credit to Paulo as well, because he really, really went for it as well with the substitutions. And I think I don't want to say we should have won the game, because I think a draw was fair ultimately, but I'm thoroughly impressed by what I saw.
On Ben's comment here, I think this is absolutely bang on. The subs were a real positive from Petzolano. Paulo had made some questionable changes up until Saturday. Shows he's willing to be bold to get back into games, and we will have weapons on the bench when the squad is fit. And I actually think, if I think from a board perspective and hierarchy perspective, Charlie, they want to see that from their manager. I think that was probably one of the things sometimes you'd say about Cleverley, if I had any critique of him, was sometimes he maybe wouldn't gamble at times when I think they probably wanted him to. In the first part of the season, obviously Barr would come on and it'd impact the game. Towards the second half of the season, maybe probably down to the players that he had, he couldn't really impact the game. Actually, probably is a better point now thinking about it. Whereas when you look at this bench, Barr, Vata, Dumbia, Vivaldo, Andrews obviously are left. But you look at 4 attacking changes that can come on and change the course of a game. That depth now we have, and we'll get into it, that's really strong, right? The options we have now to change the course of a game.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the transfers in a bit, and you'll kind of point to Cleverley, like, I don't think he had those options at all, did he really? And we still haven't got Loser and Chatfadazzi playing. I mean, the fact that we were so competitive this game, and like Sam said, I do think I could see the momentum bar in the corner hiding there, but it does feel like we were building up in the second half and we were kind of the stronger team. And when they made it 2-1, that was a bit of a sucker punch. And the fact that we did that with, and I don't want to do them too dirty, but Kayembe and Sissoko, who I didn't think had the best of games and kind of just didn't really impact anything. So the fact that we had kind of players like that in key positions who didn't impact, but we still have a good enough structure and a platform to go on and create chances. And there was like a moment in the first half where it was all Irukunda. He almost got it through to Kurumgard, like a similar goal to QPR. And I think the thing that I'm most pleased about so far at the start of the season is how direct we've been. Fast attacks, getting it, tried to transition really quick, balls over the top, mainly to kind of Irukunda, Bar when he came on, and kind of having that verticalness and directness is something that I don't think we've seen for a while. So, yeah, I'm riding on the positive wave while it's there.
On a wider point, lads, do you think he's now found his system, Petzolano, with this 3 at the back, Sam? because, like, sorry, just looking at when we played at Charlton away, we had the 4, and it was a 4-3-3, right? And the midfield balance was a little bit off. And if I think back to when we played under Ivic, I want to say even times under Cisco, even before we moved to the 4. I just think in terms of championship teams as well, even I remember like Wolves used to play with a 3 at the back when they went up. It is quite a successful 3. Like having a 3 is quite successful in the championship. Do you think he's now landed on this system and this is what we'll see now for weeks to come? Or do you think we're still flexible in that respect?
Yeah, I think we're definitely flexible, and it's good to see a Watford team able to be this flexible, both with the 3 and the 4. Admittedly, we haven't really seen us perform that well when it has been a 4 overall, but I think it's difficult to tell. I think at the moment with the personnel available, I think definitely the 3 is the more sensible option. I think we look a lot better with it. But I think when Georgie Chapfatazzi comes back in, I think it becomes a different game, because I don't think you can have a player like him playing out of position. I don't think you can. I think you have to utilize his strengths to the absolute best that you can. And I also think it's going to be very difficult to keep a player like Quadro Bar happy while keeping him on the bench for the majority of the season, because we've spoken about it's difficult fitting Bar into this system, because he's a lot better, I think, when there's 3 forwards and he's able to go a bit further out wide, like we saw on Saturday as well. So yeah, I think at the moment, I think we're going to continue to see this. But when Chapfatazzi comes back, I do wonder if we're going to go back to a 4-2-3-1 sort of shape.
How far are we off our best team, Charlie? When I look at that on paper, right? Now, Cipriano was obviously started at the back, but I think we know he's going to move into that central role. Obviously, Loser comes back in. Chakfadati comes back in as well. How many players are we away from seeing on paper our best teams, you think, when you look at that?
I think, like Sam said, the 4-2-3-1 on paper looks pretty salivating in terms of like Kurangard up front, behind him Georgie, Bar on the right, Irakunda on the left. But I don't think we should get too caught up in it. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we change quite a lot depending on who we're playing. I think if you look at the transfer business, that would suggest that we might be prioritising a 3 just with the Mendy coming back. And I've got the squad depth in front of me, which I'll show, but there's kind of 2 players from each position there now. So I think we're going to be I hope we're going to be flexible, but you know what championship seasons are like. Everything changes. Players will get injured. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see if we do have a fully strength team, what we go with.
Should we have a little look through the comments? Ben makes a good point that Bar is the conundrum in this Watford squad. Was arguably the reason that Clev's transition to a 4 at the back last season, but results have been better using a 3 at the back since Clev first used it after Val left. Sean says the issue with the 3 at the back for me is we have young centre-backs. We don't seem to have one that wants to carry the ball forward or risk a forward pass. Ian says we're missing Pollock, Georgie, Luz and Duomo for our best team. Rio says I'd hope that Chak is back. We use the 4 so we can get him, Irankunda, Bar and Rumgor all in the team. But interesting one, lads. I think just on a wider point away from this game and looking at sort of, you know, the last few, Sam, I mentioned as a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek that we are unbeaten in 3. But I think where we all found ourselves after that Norwich game as fans, I bumped into you, Sam, at the game. I bumped into you, Charlie, at the game as well. And I think we all were quite like, oh, this isn't good. Like what we're seeing after that game is not good. And I'm not saying we should get carried away by any stretch. But that's a QPR team who got destroyed by Coventry. Swansea wasn't a great game, but it's a point on the road and was a worldy free kick against Southampton. A point's a good result. But it has just steadied the ship, Sam, after a few questions were raised going into this international break, going, okay, if we don't get a certain amount of points or if we go on a run, questions will be asked because we know that's the track record, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I did, and I still maintain as well, coming out of that Norwich game, I did genuinely believe that if we didn't get a positive result against QPR, that could have been it for Paolo, genuinely based on what we saw in those first 2 games. And I know it's easy to dismiss that, you know, it's only 3 games, but we know how this ownership works. And in credit to them, I don't think Paolo can say he hasn't been backed in this situation. I think, unlike Tom Cleverley, and in a way, it is, we'll talk about the transfer window, of course, in the second half of the video. I do feel a little bit bittersweet that I feel like if only we back Cleverly like we've backed Paulo. But now I think with Cleverly throughout the season, we could always give him the excuse or a bit more leeway saying he hasn't been backed at all. For Paulo, he has to get these results. So, yeah, I think any time that we almost stray off in terms of performances and results, he's going to be in trouble. So I think for his sake, it was definitely good that we got some points on the board.
Sam, just on that, why do you think they have backed Petzolano over a Cleverly?
Well, I don't know this for sure, but you'd imagine it's because it was more Pozzo's man. And I think that's the first thing, is that it was Pozzo's man rather than anyone else's man. And we know that when Gino has his appointments, he tends to back them. Unlike Rob Edwards, for example, another example. Rob Edwards, we know, wasn't Gino's appointment, and he wasn't backed and was sold a bit short as well. And the same thing happened with Tom Cleverley. So I think the fact it was a Gino appointment definitely helps his case a lot more. I think also, like we spoke about, or we've definitely spoken about it before, I think this is very much an all or nothing season. I do genuinely believe that they are looking to sell the football club in the next year or two. Obviously, if the offer's right, I do genuinely believe that. And I think they are just rolling the dice at the moment and hoping that they can cash in while we're in the Premier League and make us a lot more valuable than we are now. So, yeah, I think those are the main reasons. I think the first one is to make us a more sellable asset in terms of if Fernando also comes in now, we could potentially be a Premier League club and they've also got assets there like Bar, Aaron Kunda, etc. And also the other reason is because it's Pozzo's man.
Yeah, interesting one. We'll get into the depth in just a second, because I have to say, lads, I can't remember it's one of the best windows on paper we've had in a long time in terms of bringing players in, but also moving players on as well. On the prediction league, which is also a hugely debated topic on this channel, I've been playing with a straight bat at the minute, back to the bowler, really sort of safe, and it hasn't really done well for me. Charlie already is running away with it. Apart from that 3-3 on the opening day, he's done well. He's done really well.
That was only minutes away from a result.
True. So, should we get? Is it too early to go with Blair? We can't go Blackburn predictions yet, can we? That's too early.
I think we can.
Yeah, what about team news, Sam? That
is true. I mean, it is. Do you know what's a good point? Because I can't remember who it was who tweeted it, but I did see it, that there's a slim chance Aaron Kunda starts against Blackburn, because obviously he's now in Australia with a 24-hour time difference. Let's say he gets back 48 hours before the game, having not trained for a week with Watford, and adjusting to that. I doubt Aaron Kunda will start, and that will be a blow's the wrong word, but it will impact things. So yeah, it might be too early, to be fair.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. You can never. For me, I can't bet without doing a little bit of research.
Yeah, I've just noticed I haven't actually predicted us to win yet, which is very me, I
think. We shall see. Blackburn at home. Right, Charlie. I will hand over to you now to talk us through the players who stayed. Or do you want to do the keep loan sell?
Well, shall we just talk through the departures first, about the players that have gone? Maybe not less a player, but for me, like the big one, Ryan Andrews, and it all happened pretty quickly. Obviously, we were there, Sam, and you could see visibly how emotional he was walking, saying goodbye to the fans, and since the kind of social media content, especially in the changing rooms. I'm pretty sad about this. I think he's had a bit of a rough time. He's obviously low on confidence. He hasn't played, but I've always thought I feel like it was like a season ago. We were like, oh, he's going to be the next player who's going to go on to do great things, and we're going to get a good fee for him. I just think with Watford being Watford and circumstances, a change of manager, he hasn't been able to settle, and he's in a period where he's low on confidence. And I think he's found himself behind Ngakia, and they've had quite a good offer for him. You've got to remember he's a homegrown player, so pure profit. I don't know too much about Championship PSR. And I think he's kind of been told they've accepted an offer and kind of asked to leave. And look, it is a decent club. He's going to be playing Europa League football. Good for him to have a fresh start. But there's a bit of me that I'm a bit gutted about it, and especially how we've now changed shape, playing with a wing back, which I think is actually more suited to his skill set. So I'm a bit sad about the situation. I've got to admit, I haven't done too much research on the new Mendy and the other player that we're going to talk about, the right back that's replaced him. But Yeah, I'm a bit sad about this one. How do you guys feel about it, Jacob?
I feel sad from a sentimental point of view because of how long he's been at the football club. Ryan's a great guy. Been great with us as well as a channel. Reached out, sorted us out with shirts for charity days, and as always, I know he followed our stuff as well. From that point of view, I'm really gutted because I think he's a great guy and someone who lives and breathes Watford. Just for how long he's been at the football club, but I do think for everybody, it's the right move. And I'll tell you why, because I feel like it's like anything, whether it's a job, whether it's, you've been somewhere for a long time, it can probably get a bit stale. And Ryan's got to the point where he's played 96 times for us since he broke into the first team under obviously Chris Wilder, then played with Val, and then obviously to this season as well. Sorry, last season and this season as well. So he's actually been there. This is 4th season being around the first team. And I think when you get to 21 years old and he's being told, obviously, he's not going to get as much game time as he wants, as you say, Charlie, and the opportunity to have a completely new start, fresh start in the Europa League, the club are getting a great fee in £2.6 million, €3 million. And I think it probably just got to the point where he just needed a new setting, new surroundings. Watford fans, I thought, were a little bit unfair at times towards him, particularly, not saying everybody. I think there was a certain Watford fans were a little bit harsh on him. Maybe because he was homegrown and maybe because he was a Watford boy. Is it an easy target? I don't know. But it felt like it wasn't. I don't know. It felt like a little bit harsh on a guy who does live and breathe the football club. And he wasn't really getting a run in the team. And then the Norwich game happened. And I remember texting Sam going, I really don't want to see that because I think he'll admit it was probably his worst performance in a Watford shirt. It wasn't a good one. And you could tell by his body language, he came off at half time. And I think I remember looking at him thinking a fresh start is what's needed. So I think signing a 4-year deal with Young Boys, 21 years old, is going to be playing Europa League. I think it's a great opportunity, Sam. I think it's a really good opportunity for him. And Watford have done well to get £2.6 million of profit out of an academy product. And I know that famous line from Scott Duxbury last season about would you rather an £80 million signing or Ryan Andrews at right back? But credit where credit's due to the club because the fee is a good one for a player who had 2 years left on his deal, I want to say.
Yeah, not 100% sure on how long he actually had left on his deal. But yeah, I think firstly your sentiments are right, Jacob, on a top guy, Ryan. Been great with us on the channel. Donated a couple of shirts for us to give away to charity over the various sort of charity matches that we've done over the last couple of years. Obviously came onto the channel as well with Miles Roberts. Long season it was, wasn't it? I lose track of time nowadays. And yeah, always just so approachable, Ryan. So I'm gutted from that perspective. But I think you're right, Jacob. I think for him more than anyone else, I think this was the right time for him to move on, to be honest with you. I think it is so difficult at Watford, at a club where it's difficult for younger players to develop, particularly homegrown ones, because of the amount of changes with the managers, that I think it's time for him to go somewhere a little bit more stable, somewhere where, of course, he's going to be playing European football as well. He'll be at Villa Park now, coming up against the likes of Jadon Sancho and Harvey Elliott. So it's a great move for Ryan. Hopefully break back into the England development squad as well, which I don't think he's been selected for in the last couple of occasions. So yeah, no hard feelings towards Ryan. Of course, I don't think any Watford fan will wish him anything but the absolute best. And yeah, listen, football's a strange game, and who knows? I don't think this might not be the end of Ryan Andrews' Watford story. Would not shock me one bit if in the future. Watch this space.
No, I agree. I think that's one thing you can never write off with this football club. Someone just corrected me. It was he had 3 years left in his deal, so Watford were able to command a good fee for Ryan. And his agent, by the way, which is Two Touch, right? That's Paolo Venazza, right? And I think he's Will Hughes' agent as well, which is interesting. But yeah, I think the one thing, I think you made a great point there, Charlie, about us moving to this back three. He actually does really suit that, Ryan. I think he is a wing back. I think that's his best role in a back three, being able to bomb forward. But we wish him all the best, and I'm sure we'll be keeping track of his career at Young Boys. And what an opportunity to go there and really take his career to another level. I mean, if you do well there at Young Boys, this is probably how he's thinking about it. If he gets a regular spot with Young Boys, play in the Swiss league, but then obviously at a European stage as well. That is a platform to go on to even to another level if it works out. So I wish him all the best, and I'm sure his video was really lovely as well, right, Charlie? That speech he gave to the players, I thought that takes a lot of cojones to like do it in front. Like, let's be honest, football isn't the easiest environment to do a speech like that, and I thought he did really, really well, and clearly showed how much the club meant to him.
Yeah, especially with obviously the media team were filming it and stuff, and do you know what I mean? He's put himself in quite a vulnerable position there, so which is all power to him. And yeah, really good lad, and again another Watford player that the academy have produced who's gone on to make it, which isn't always a given. So yeah, really happy for Ryan, and wish him best of luck in Switzerland.
And a great picture of the lads in the change room afterwards as well, holding up his shirt. Yeah, great to see. And he goes with everyone's best wishes, Ryan. We shall talk about some other departures, shall we? And actually just quickly look at some of the players that have left. If I just get this up on the screen very quickly. Sam, before we get on to sort of incomings and reviewing the window as a whole, Andrews actually goes as one of our biggest sales. João Ferreira went to Saint Etienne for €3 million. Rivich, €3 million. Andrews actually went for €3 million as well. Sierralta, which feels like an age ago. Porteous, Tikvich, Bachmann, Hurtado, Roberts, Ogbonna, free agent. And then Vacuum Bio as well. And Larousse, who obviously left on loan. But I have to say, if you said to us at the start, Sam, that this would be our activity with outgoings, we've been pretty efficient in quite a short period of time as well. I mean, that doesn't feel that long ago when, when fucking Bayer got announced he was leaving, let alone, to the latest one, which is obviously Andrews.
Yeah, it's been a really, really good window for outgoings. And I think this has been a process that we've seen over the last maybe 2 transfer windows generally, in terms of the outgoings. And I don't like the term deadwood, because I feel like that is doing some of the players an injustice. Someone like Ryan Andrews certainly wasn't deadwood in that squad, but players who potentially either needed a new challenge or simply it wasn't working at Watford anymore. I think we've pretty much got rid of all of those players. I think every player in that squad at the moment, you can see their function, you can see what they're doing, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2, but you can see what they're offering to the squad. And I feel like one thing that we've got rid of this summer is the players who weren't necessarily doing that. So yeah, I think credit has to go to the recruitment team because, yeah, obviously it's been a difficult couple of years, the relationship between Watford fans and the ownership, and that's the scrutiny is still on. It still massively is on, and I stand by everything that I said at the start of the summer when Tom Cleverley left. But I think you'd have to give them some credit that they have almost put their money where their mouth is and have attempted to make some sort of change this summer.
But question for both of you lads. When you look at that list, sorry, the writing's a little bit small. When you look at that list, what is the best sale we've done this summer and the one that surprises you the most, Charlie?
I think probably if you look at straight at the top of the list, the fact that we're getting that much of a fee for João Ferreira, who I cannot not even remember playing for Watford, even getting that fee for Rivich, I think we flipped that. We got a profit on him. I think the biggest one that kind of bit of a shock and a bit of a surprise, feels like he kind of left through the back door, was Dan Batman, who a couple of years ago got given a 5-year contract and the captain's armband and hasn't worked for whatever reason. It feels like we don't know what's been happening behind the scenes, but that's all been very kind of hush-hush, and he got his move to Deportivo. So again, one that's best for all parties. Ryan Porteous, and everyone on this list I think we're happy with, and we're going to talk about the players who have stayed, but I don't know if there's been like a big difference this year. But what I would say is everyone on this list, it feels like they were kind of mistakes in the first place. So I don't. Definitely not. No. Well, the defined ponytail would never have a mistake.
I was going to say, Charlie. I was going to say.
I was going to say pretty much everyone other than Andrew, Sierralta, and you'd probably put Roberts on that list as well, were probably a mistake, weren't they?
So you said Bachmann, Hurtado, Porteous. Do you know what, lads? I would say if I was being brutally honest with you, I would say the thing is, if you make a profit on a player, they would argue it's not a mistake. And someone like Ferreira, we have flipped a little bit of cash on. I would say Portis was a free transfer. Bachmann was a free transfer. Hurtado, hasn't worked out. Tikvich, that was a mistake because we didn't need him. Rivich, you could argue as well. But I think the best one for me, lads, is I think also one of the key things to say about some of these players. I think you look at a Portis, you look at a Bachmann. These guys will be on big wages. I don't know the figures, but they're not going to be cheap, especially with Bachmann on a 5-year deal. So I know he's only out on loan, but I think that will take him to become a free agent, right? Because it's like his final year of his contract. So okay, cool. So should we look at the incomings, Charlie?
Yeah, shall we? Well, I think one thing that we should talk about before we get the tier list on and rank these incomings, but let's be frank. I think for me the biggest and best thing about this window is the players that we've kept, seemingly to Imran Louza and Georgie Chatfidatsi. There were statements at the start of the window saying that would be the case and we'd keep hold of them. We haven't heard of too much interest or offers, and I think we would have heard of that if they were legit. If you remember at the start of the window, Louza kind of seemed like he wanted to leave and something shifted there, and he's now kind of a key leader in that team. He's had a decent start. So like we talked about when we're talking about depth and what the team could look like, I think when we looked at our keep, loan and sell, I think we had on the sell that Georgie was going to be the one to go, but he's still here and he's one of the most exciting players we watched last season. So I think that's huge for us. And whether that's going to be able to get us in a position to give us a promotion charge, I'm not too sure. But surely none of us thought that we were going to keep those two players at the start of the window.
I'll be honest, Sam, I can't believe we've kept Louza.
I know.
I'm really surprised at that.
Yeah, really all three of them really surprised. I mean, if I remember what I said in that keep, loan, sell, I did think Louza would stay. I thought that we'd make him captain as a way of keeping him. But the way that the window's panned out, I mean, it looked like at one point Louza was going, like you say, Charlie. Even late on, it must have been as recently as 2 weeks ago, it looked like Georgie to Valencia was rumoured to have basically been done. But obviously never fully believe what you read. And yeah, I can't imagine we had too many offers for Quadro Bar just because of his injury record. I do potentially wonder if he had played a little bit more last season. I'm not saying it's a like for like, but someone like Crystal Palace would have gone in for him, not to replace Eberechi Eze, but in that mould, so to speak. So yeah, definitely it's been the biggest plus of this window, 100%, has been keeping those three players.
Just on that, I'm having a shocker with contracts today. So Andrews run out in 2028. Rio's correcting me that Bachmann still has 3 years left. So it would be a case that Watford need to move him on again, or I think that will be the last time we see him at Watford, if I'm honest with you, lads. I'd be surprised with Selvik becoming our number one. But I do completely agree with you, Sam. I'm not surprised at Bar. I think actually his injuries probably stopped the team gambling a big chunk of money on him. Chatfidatsi, I thought he'd go to Valencia. When that rumour started to come out, it just made sense. I know they have a few Georgian links. One of their centre-backs is Georgian, obviously Mamadashvili. It just felt right that they would come in for him. I think we'll have him until January and then we'll go again. But Louza was the one for me that I'm surprised that no one gambled, or at least the club, by the looks of it, said unless they get a significant fee, probably at around 10 million, they weren't going to sell him. But yeah, we will see. But do you know what it is, Elliot, right? So Elliot said Chatfidatsi was never going to Valencia for 10 million. I get that for 10 million, but I'm surprised that there wasn't a negotiation where, even, for example, he went on loan with an option to buy or something like that. Because let's be honest, if a club like Valencia comes calling, Chatfidatsi probably wants to move. So I know he's had his injury issues. Anyway, long story short, keep, sell or loan. If we look at the players that have actually gone, Charlie, Bachmann, well, these are the players that we thought would go. Bachmann, Sierralta, Porteous, yes. Morris was close to a move, according to the Watford Observer. They need cover for Wiley. Ferreira, gone. Deli Bashiru, that one's still rumbling on. He could be off to Poland on a loan. Chatfidatsi stayed. Tom Ince was rumoured to leave, hasn't, and Rivich has. So
I think this is pretty strong prediction from us. So
It's not bad.
We're slowly getting better. But yeah, what do you know about? To be honest, I was busy working for someone yesterday, so like I missed everything. What's the latest on Tom Delibashiro? So he's linked with a team from Poland.
Yes, let me get the official tweet up. Sam, I found this rumor quite out of the blue. I expect Delibashiru to leave, but the Polish league wasn't, my first league that I had him associated with. But Luca Bendoni, very, very reliable. He smashed the transfer stuff this window alongside Adam Jury as well. Those guys have been fantastic. Watford and Jagiellonia are in talks regarding a potential move to Poland for midfielder Tom Delibashiru. Jagiellonia sent a straight loan proposal. Just doesn't really make any sense.
No sense for anyone here, including for Tom Deli. I mean, and a flat loan as well for us. Unless we're getting a fee for him, to be honest with you, I think we might as well keep him. To be honest with you, as depth if we're not getting a fee there. I mean, surely when I first saw this, and I don't know and haven't done any research, but surely there's some sort of Mogi buyout link there or a Giaretta link or something like that, because surely a move like this doesn't come completely out of nothing. It's the most random move.
It's bizarre. I mean, are they loaded with cash? Like, is it one of those where it's just like good payday for a year? I'm kind of just searching them up here, and yeah, it's just a loan I wouldn't have had Tom Delibashiru down for. I know he's linked to Serie A clubs. He was linked to Ligue 1 clubs. His brother plays at Lazio. I thought there was a move potentially where he could get to Serie A. But Charlie, this one is a really strange one.
Yeah, I actually feel really sorry for Tom in this situation, because I think again, kind of similar to Ryan, but like I think it's best now that he goes and plays football. I think it's been surprising how little Paolo's played him, especially with the amount of game time Sissoko and Kayembe have played, especially that Swansea game where I thought we needed someone like him to control the game. So, yeah, it'd be a real shame if he actually doesn't get a move so that he can play football. But does he want to go to Poland? Is Rio saying that the Turkey window is still open?
Yeah.
You could see him maybe linking up with like where's Festi at or somewhere like that. But, yeah, like... I'm surprised how little game time, because again I feel like sometimes as fans can write players off after they just go on a bad run, but Tom Deli has been like a decent player for us. But if he's right down the pecking order, he just wants to go play at football. But does he want to go to Poland and play? I've literally never heard of that team in my life before that tweet he showed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking. Someone just mentioned if they're in Europe. Are they in the Conference League? They are in the Conference League.
Wow.
So is that a pull where he's guaranteed European football?
Thursday nights.
Could have that Tom Deli versus Ryan to go along in the Champions League. João Pedro versus Ken Sema.
Yeah.
Jason, ex-Watford player Billing.
That's unbelievable, by the way. Lucas, believe they do play in Europe. Only Paul I could see for Tom playing in the Conference League. Ben said early on in the window he was being touted for an £8 million move to Ipswich, Parma, Bologna. Ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous how football can work. Also, I imagine it's absolutely freezing as well, which is one thing to mention. There's another rumour, right? There was a couple. So Tom Ince was linked with a move, Sam. That didn't materialise. Akamia from the academy, he's moved on to Gillingham on loan. Nabizada didn't get a move in the end, but the Turkish window is still open. So my question is, Sam, why are you laughing, Sam? Come on.
It's just that's as well, because of my supposed agenda against Amin Nabizada.
Oh my God.
Should we actually tell a bit of a backstory about this? Because I feel like we just laugh every time he's mentioned on the
Go
story.
on, hit me. Charlie, you've got to do it, otherwise Sam's going to lose it.
So I think it was like the FA Youth Cup and like one of the earlier rounds, and Sam just comes up with a comment saying, Nabizada should have done better for that pass or something. Just out of the blue, like really harsh criticism. So we're just saying now that he's got an agenda. But I'm looking at the time, lads, and we're already into the final stages. Should we rattle through this tier list?
Go on, Len. Sorry, I've completely lost track of time. But someone did say great loan for Travis Akamia to learn under Gareth Ainsworth as well. League Two. Good loan for him. Right. Let's rank Watford's 25-26 summer transfer window. Should we do one each to keep it quick? And if there's any shockers, we can call them out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go on, you off, Charlie.
Right, Baxter. He just seems like a great lad, doesn't he?
He does seem
Great
good.
lad around the boys, some golf days. But sadly, he's going in meh for me.
Sam, I'm going to let you take the kip.
The kip for the boy. Wow.
One rule. Only we won't touch the best until the end, and then we'll decide who's in the best.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the kip goes in quality kip.
It's got to be in it.
Did he score a disallowed goal? I was listening to the Watford Buzz before this, and they were talking about it, but I can't remember it on Saturday.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Kipriano, but someone scored a disallowed goal. I couldn't really see it. It was at the back post, I think, and on the other side to us, Charlie. But yeah, would have been a push or something in there.
Proper player.
I'm going to go big here. And I'm going off what someone's told me again about League One footballers. I think Mendy's going to be a quality signing.
Which one?
Foremost.
All right. Well, tell us what you know about him. Tell us what you've heard.
So, speaking to someone who watches, he gave me the reference on Kevin Caben. He said to me he'd be a good Championship defender. Played one season in League One. Mainly, most of his bulk of his work's come in League Two. Just a really good presence at the back. Someone that will be really good in the back three. It doesn't say he's Premier League level, but he is still young. One thing he did say is that he could be called up to the Senegal squad for AFCON, which is something to bear in mind. But that's if he's it is Quinton. Shout out to Conton, who I spoke to. But yeah, he's a big fan of him. So I'm going to go quality early.
Do we know anything about the deal? Is it a loan? Is it a buy? How much? I've literally I saw this on, was it Friday night? It broke and obviously it happened. But yeah, I don't know too many details about the deal. He's 24. Pardon?
It's initially a loan, and I believe it's with an option to buy.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I found interesting, he's 24, so he's going to be like our most experienced defender.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I'm going to go early with that one. And it sounds like Watford have been tracking him for a while. Charlie.
I am going for big Luka Kurumgard. Am I pronouncing that right? Kurumgor. I think he's been quality since he's played. Some games he's been feeding off scraps and hasn't had too much to deal with, but I feel like his hold-up play is really smart. His movement's good. He gets in the right positions. He hasn't had a lot of service at all. He scored 2 goals against QPR, so he's going to be an instant hero for me. I really like the look of him. I think, I don't know what you guys think, but I think we've got a good in there. Light years difference from the other Danish Hertfordshire Haaland we got.
Apparently,
he's going to be me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm impressed with Luca. Sam, I think that looks like a really clever bit of business from Watford.
Yeah, love the early signs of Luka Kiramgor. If we're that sort of Kiramgor.
Is that you? Sam, hit me.
I'll go Max Elaine.
Ooh.
And I will go decent for Max Elaine. I don't think he's quite at that quality level yet. And I also think that potentially when Matty Pollock's back at full fitness or potentially even when we go back to a back four, we might not see as much of him, but I think in the 2 and a bit games he's played so far across Norwich, Swansea and Southampton, I think he's adjusting to men's football for the first time. And it's easy to forget as well. This is his first time playing senior football. I think he's adjusting to it really, really well. And I mean, I've actually already thought, I like to hope that we'll actually get him back on loan next season as well, because I think as well, another year would be really, really good for him. So,
is he going to be ready for the Premier League?
It could be ready. Never know. But I do just think that his minutes will be more and more limited as the season goes on, injury permitting, because of course someone like Caben will get injured at some point.
Do you know what? I think we could be looking back at this and thinking he could be quality. Like the amount we play through him, like in terms of build up and trust him on the ball when he's the one who can kind of play. And for the player who's played so little minutes, like he just looks really, really good. I'm happy to put him in decent at the minute because I don't want to jinx him too much, but I think he could be one we look back on and think he could be a special player. And he got called up to the under-21s, which that's quite a big leap, really, going straight in there. So yeah, Lee Carsey must like him, and he's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I agree with you, and I'm going to go. Is my goal or Charlie's?
Yeah, go for it, Jake.
Okay, I'm going to go with. I'll do the obvious. Imran Kunda's going to go in quality. I will say that he will be.
How can I do a backflip? Woo!
He'll be in the conversation for the best when we come to it towards the end. I think all the signs there that he looks like I'm going to use the word superstar.
Short and sweet. I like it. There's not too much to say.
Charlie.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's going to be interesting watching him this season, and I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is. Those free kicks are just unbelievable, and the quality he shows on the ball is so exciting. Having him and Barr kind of, and do you know what was really great? Just seeing those two like buzzing off each other when they're competing for spaces. So some good vibes. All right, who else? I'm going to go for. All right, I'm going to be a bit harsh, but I'm going to go for it. Semedo, early signs, and I'm sorry to do this for Valdo, but you're no Rivaldo. I'm going no good.
It's brutal, but I probably would have leaned towards. I probably would have been a bit nicer and gone meh.
I just think that's the one thing we're lacking. If we had an experienced striker, and I'm not talking like a Danny Ings or someone like that, but even just someone who's a bit more wily that we can bring on games. But he came on against Swansea and looked poor. He started against Norwich and didn't get a kick. I can't remember him doing anything against Southampton. So I really hope he proves me wrong on that one.
Yeah, the early signs. In his defence, he has only come off the bench, hasn't he? And even against Norwich, he came off the bench. No, sorry, did he start against Norwich? He did start against Norwich. And he didn't get a kick. But we were terrible that day. Look, it is early days. I would say I'm leaning towards that. Sam, we've got 6 left. One of them, I'm gonna jump in there. Ciccovani. It's difficult to put him in any bracket because I'll be honest, lads, I haven't seen anything from him, but apparently he's the next Georgian superstar. So I guess, should we go with the fact that big teams are interested, quality in terms of the potential?
Oh, I was just going to go decent for now.
Okay, decent. Maybe I've got a bit ahead of myself.
Decent for now, yeah. On Semedo, though, I just don't think he looks fit, to be honest with you. He just looks a yard off it. And maybe he's just adjusting to the Championship. Of course he is, but yeah, not sure. I mean, a word that Charlie mentioned just now in terms of a backup striker is we need someone a bit more wily. So I'm going to go with Caleb Wiley now. And I'm going to put Caleb in decent. Obviously, he is injured at the moment. And I don't want to chuck one at you, Jacob, here if we're picking them. But you might want to talk about Mark Boller. But I think it's going to be really healthy competition between the two of them this season. And while I thought Wiley started slowly last year when he came back from his injury, I think it took him a few games to get used to the league. By the end, I was really, really impressed. I think he's the most balanced left back we've had in a long, long time between defending and attacking. And I really like him. So I'm going to put Caleb Wiley in decent.
I've done Mark Boller dirty because I can't find him. But
do you know what? I'm going to put Mark Boller in decent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you're praising Wiley so much, and I think probably one of the reasons that I forgot to put him on is because I feel like he's been with us for like years. Like he's just like that solid, steady player. So I really like him. It'd be interesting to see. I think one of my predictions was I think he'll play more games than Wiley this season. So he could be in quality. James Bank.
Sorry, I was going to say with Bowler, I do think he's a wing back as well. I think he's brilliant going forward. It's the other way sometimes, a little bit hesitant. But I do really like the look of Bowler. I think he's a good Championship left back, and I do think in a wing back system it could suit him better going forward. So, Charlie, Abankwah?
Abankwah, I'm going quality. I'm staying true to him. I listened to the Watford Buzz, great podcast. Give it a listen to, and they did like something similar, rounding up the window and talked about Southampton. And Jordan, friend of the channel, mentioned about kind of a bank where he's been making small mistakes here and there, and he has, to be honest, he was the one who pulled back, I think, Armstrong, which led to the free kick, and I think he was the one who impeded whoever to give away. So I do see those mistakes that Banquer's making, but I still think his ceiling is so high, and I think he's going to go on to be an amazing player. So I'm backing him. I still think he looks great, and he has good moments. He never throws in like a absolute stinker. It's just little things here and there. So again, he's a 21-year-old who hasn't played much football, and I'm going with quality. Anyone fuming with that? I think he should only be decent.
No, I agree. I think Tim's nailed it here in the comment section. I do really like a Banquer. Just has to cut out those fouls and little mistakes that can cost us. And actually, lads, I think the way a Banquer plays, I forget he's only 21. Like, he is. I'm saying that as a 24-year-old, but he's extremely young, and to be playing this much football for Watford, there's going to be those little errors. But as Tim says, if he can just iron them out, I think we've got a really good one here. Sam, we're on to the final three. Who do you want to take?
Oh, so we have, is that Mama down there?
Yeah, we've got Mama.
Mama, I will put in decent, I want to say. I think he actually played half for the under-21s the other day and actually scored as well. So good to see that as well. Again, it's another one for the future, a bit like the Georgian fella that we've signed as well. A couple of prospects as well, and something that Scott Duxbury mentioned in those comments today is that we've not just signed for this season, but there are some exciting prospects for the future there as well. And I think Mama probably goes into that category too. I heard a rumor actually. I can't remember if the Watford Observer confirmed this or not, because it might have come directly from Adam Jury's mouth. But the plan for Mama was originally to loan him out, wasn't it? And I think
didn't he really impress in training? And they were talking about integrating, which that might have changed after the early hype. But good to see him scoring. Just quickly, because I've missed it today. Before we finish with the last two, but. What did Scott Duxbury say today about the summer business?
Let's get it up on screen just so we can have a quick read. Actually, Charlie, do you want to just finish the last two? And
yeah,
then we're
sorry. So Mendy is the older player who is a free agent. He's your Carlos Sanchez. He's your Bacuna that we get in. He's going straight in. He's going straight in meh for me, but. Again, I haven't seen him play, so I hope he proves him wrong. I just don't know where he is going to play. And Petrie as well, the Ryan Andrews replacement. Don't know much about him. He's from Charleroi, if I pronounce that right. Looks like a emoji boy, but let's not kind of taint him with that emoji by it brush too soon. Let's give him a chance. I saw one video of him. He looked very attacking, dribbly. Do you guys know anything about him?
I'm going early. I think it'll be decent.
Ooh. Better than Ucko.
Well, but he's basically the Ryan Andrews replacement, isn't he? Like, we've got a 27-year-old on a 4-year contract. Clearly, Watford have been offered him, or it's been an opportunity that's come up to sign him. I read an article from a French football. This is something completely different, by the way. An article from a French football expert who watches Belgian football expert who watches a lot, and he said he is extremely attacking. So in this wing-back system, it could work quite nicely with that in mind. I have to admit, I haven't watched a lot of him, but I've seen a couple of clips, as you say, Charlie. I think he'll work out pretty well. And to be honest, I actually don't mind having an extremely attacking right back in the building, because Ngakia isn't that. Ngakia is one of those who's going to be is a really good when you're away from home. You need to keep it tight. But actually, when you're going to have to come up against teams where you're going to need to create a little bit more, someone of his profile probably is a good signing. So
yeah, I heard he had quite good numbers, and he's been playing in the Belgian top flight. I don't know, maybe I'm looking at the Moji tax, but I was thinking it's going to be like another João Ferreira. But
Valon Brahmi said this, Sam and Charlie. He's an offensive wing back that is pacey and likes to make runs from deep. He has the ability to make a difference, especially going forward, where he'll be a useful player to have in one-on-one situations and crosses.
Yeah,
In the middle?
He's 6 foot, by the way, for a wing back.
Sam, what are you feeling?
I just think it's Mogi tax, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it goes into meh, to be honest with you, just because of the Mogi links. And you've got a lot to prove to me, son, to get up to decent purely because of that.
So Jacob, you were saying quality?
No, I said decent.
Oh. Sorry, he's going in the Mogi mare. Prove us wrong.
I mean, I think I think Valon's comments there in terms of him making a difference, the choice of words there, interesting. I think that suggests that Ngake will still be the starting right back, and potentially he means coming on and making a difference in games. So we'll see.
We shall see. Right,
who's going in the best?
Oh, I mean, someone's made a really good point about given Cipriano as a free transfer, can make him the best signing, because what I will say is, someone said it to me the other day, and I think it goes in life, actually. This is getting quite deep. I think it's in life as well. Availability is the best ability. And Cipriano probably will play most games this season. So you could argue on a free transfer and for value for money, and the fact he could play in the back line, but also in midfield, that he will be the best signing based on the amount he plays. If you're telling me on ability, it's Iran Kunda. So what are we basing it on, lads?
I'm going for the Kip. If I'm looking at the overall transfer and like Iran Kunda, you got to remember like the actual deal. I know we put a fee down for him, but I think Bayern have got 50% sell on. So like, do you know what I mean? That was a really, like, don't get me wrong, amazing player, but I think for the longevity for a potential to become a Watford great, I'm going the Kip.
Yeah, I think Karim Gore deserves a mention, but it's between Iran Kunda and Cipriano, I think. And look, lads, I'll be honest, if Iran Kunda can keep this up, what he's showing in these early stages, he won't be here next season unless we got promoted. So unless he has a complete fall off, he probably will be our best player. I'm probably going to lean towards Iran Kunda from what I've seen so far.
Sam, have the decider.
I love the Kip. I think the Kip just edges it for me. But why can't we have both?
You know what I've noticed, by the way, lads, just to chuck it in there. I've been away for a game or so, and is there like a pact forming? Because Chris got nudged down to meh, and my Iran Kunda shout has been knocked off top spot. What's been happening? What was happening at Johnson Calf?
If you don't turn up to the Mad Squirrel, then
secret revolt on WD18.
Do you know what? I love this from Charlotte. Iran Kunda is an investment and won't stay long. Agree, Kip could be the next Gary Porter. Wow. Love it. Ben says, I think Iran Kunda may show some loyalty, to be honest. Number 66 shirt. Just been called up back to the Australia senior squad, by the way, which was one of his first aims. I remember when he did his interview about joining Watford, he wanted to get back into the senior squad. Again, I know an Aussie who loves him. Like, the hype from the Aussie fans for Iran Kunda is another level. They genuinely believe he can be a superstar. The Deeney connection as well. Look, I really like him. I would go Iran Kunda, but I do agree. If you look probably long-term, availability is the best ability. Cipriano and versatility for Cipriano has to be mentioned. I will
you're not it.
I mean, poetry. Oh, just let me just wrap up with Scott Duxbury's comments just to finish up. Wow, it's a lot.
We've gone a whole summer without hearing from him.
I'm not going to read all of it on stream. What I will say is give it a read because it's always interesting. But
what are the main headlines?
Should I put it into ChatGPT and see what comes up the summary? But he says I think it's been a positive transfer window where we've been able to bring 40 new players and build to a position where the squad is so much stronger in depth and talent. But more than that, I was able to reflect on the sense of pride where we have so many people who work so hard on behalf of the football club. Talks about this is a team I believe which is capable of exciting the fans, and it was thrilling to see so many of you out of your seats at Vicarage Road on Saturday. And I sense something building at the club where the team provides moments of sheer joy and pride amongst the supporters. And I'd like to pay my tributes to one player who's often shared those moments. Obviously, loves the club. Ryan Andrews is very definitely one of our own. And I, like many of you, was moved by his farewell speech after the Southampton game. There was a real sense of pride here at his development as both a player and person, but we couldn't stand in his way to pursue more regular playing time. Ryan and his family always receive the warmest of welcomes anytime they're back at the Vic, enjoying the adventure we are on. So really nice words from Duxbury on Andrews. And it sounds like Andrews could have stayed, but he wanted to play, and fair play to him.
I have a question for both of you, actually, before we wrap up.
Yeah.
At the start of the window, I'm paraphrasing here, don't remember the exact quote. There was something along the lines of saying that Duxbury said, or Barami said, we want to recreate what we had in terms of Dini, Igalo, Vidra, Forestieri in that 14-15 promotion. Bar, Kiram Gord, Irankunda, Chapatazzi. Do you think we have that?
One player that we haven't mentioned at all today.
I love the way Charlie's just completely ignored the question.
Because he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Mama Dumbia.
Mama!
Don't forget, Watford rejected a £10 million bid from him from Premier League Burnley. So, I don't know. Like, it's exciting. And we haven't talked about Rocco Vata, who came on.
Rocco.
Oh, what a goal, by the way. What a goal.
It's really exciting. Let's get it in quickly. 1 out of 10, rate the window. And 2, is it been enough to make us promotion contenders this season? Sam, go first.
I'm giving the window an 8.5 out of 10. I think we still could have slightly strengthened in the midfield area. But I think in terms of all round, I think the outgoings, keeping hold of our best players and upgrading in certain positions, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Is it good enough to go up? It's impossible to tell at this stage of the season. It's been such a bizarre start to the championship season. No team is particularly playing unbelievably well. The 3 teams who have come down, Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton, none of them have hit their hit a tune yet.
Robbie Edwards would have something to say about that.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that. I've blocked him out of my memory. Yeah, but pretty much every team is, other than Middlesbrough, is sort of stuttering towards the start. So it's difficult to tell. But I think if the season goes on like this, I don't see a reason why we couldn't challenge to get into the top 6.
I'm going to go with, if you're based on the players that have come in the building and the ones we've let go, I reckon you're looking at about a 7.5. But because we've kept Loser and Chakfadazzi, it goes up, and I agree with Sam, to an 8.5 for me. I think it would have been even higher had we got Popov. Was it we were linked with, and Lovrich? I think if we got Lovrich, that would have been a seriously huge signing. That is the type of signing which goes like, okay, we're in business here, because this guy, again, from what I was reading, was the most played player for Udinese last season. So like we were getting a player who could play in the Premier League, basically at the bottom end of it. And what was the other question, Charlie? Are we in the mix? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. For me, I think I predicted. What did I predict? 10th. It does feel very 10th for me. I think we'll flirt with the playoffs, but I just think unless we did have a big January, it would need a little bit more for me to go, okay, we're in contention here. That's where I find myself, because I just think it's so tight, and I think you really have to be. You look at some of the teams above us, or at least the teams that have come down, or the ones that are going to be in the mix, and there's some really good squads in there. So I think 8.5, and I think we'll still finish 10th.
Yeah,
11th.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'll give it an 8, and no, we're not going to get promoted. But I am happy to be Vibes FC and simply be in the Championship, having a good time, because I watched the first half of Matchday, watching all those VAR decisions. No, thank you.
It really is true. It's true. It's yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy just
to be honest, lads.
Yeah, I'm happy just to be down in the Championship, racking up our XBF, expected backflips, well, we enjoy that.
Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know we've kept you of the audience for an hour and 10 minutes, and we really do appreciate it on this Tuesday evening. Few things. Firstly, if you're back at school tomorrow, all the best. I know there's a couple of people watching who said they were. Hope it all goes well. Watford can get you through some tough times at school. I remember that. I don't know about you, Sam. I know we were more recently at school, and not to rub it in, Charlie, but I do remember like thinking, oh, the Saturday is what you look forward to. Get your homework done, get your revision done. Saturday, Watford, enjoy it. And then obviously we've got a week international break. Then we're back for Blackburn. And look, we'll try and get more live streams in. It's totally on me for not getting them in as regularly, but the lads have been holding the fort magnificently well. Lads, any final thoughts before we go?
Rub the Hornets, mate.
Yeah, no, like I said, we've all been really busy in the summer, and there's been a lot of transfer activity, and I know I would have liked to have done more stuff than I have done. So apologies for that. But hopefully, when we do get together and we have these streams, they make up for it, because that is my favourite time, and we have a good laugh.
We always love it. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much to Ben for the lovely comment. If you on the way out, if you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, drop us a review on audio as well, which really appreciate. And follow us on WD18 at WD18 fans. Take care, guys, and up the audits. You odds.